this video, we will introduce Elicit, a research assistant. Elicit is available for free and by subscription. We will be showing you the free account. This is Elicit's homepage. On the homepage, you can get a research report, you can find papers, you can upload PDFs and extract information from them, or you can list concepts. I'm going to be demonstrating the Get a Research Report feature. So we start with a research question. I've entered one. And the first thing that Elicit does is evaluates the quality of your research question. If it determines it to be an inadequate question for some reason, it won't let you ask that question, but it will provide you with suggestions on how to improve it and make it a more specific question. Even if it does say that it's a good research question, like this one that I've entered, it will give you suggestions for improving it. Like, for example, it's suggesting that I be more specific about the population. So I can add something along those lines. I might add in higher education. And again, it will evaluate the strength of my question and give me more suggestions so that I might get increasingly more relevant results. Once I'm satisfied with the strength of my question, I can click the begin arrow, and for the free account, it will allow me to screen 50 papers and it will extract 10 of them. So we'll go ahead and click Generate Report. And then what it's doing is it's going to gather 50 papers that it believes fits our research question. And an important question is, where does it gather those papers? It is searching Semantic Scholar. It then screens the papers based on criteria that it will show you once it's completed its report. Then it will extract data and generate your report for you. You can see here what it has determined the papers should be screened for. In this case, it's examining the papers to see whether the educational setting, for example, meets the higher education aspect of our research question. It's looking at the research papers to see if the instruction focus is on information literacy instruction. It's looking at the research method, for example, since I said that it needed to be an empirical study. And it's selecting the papers that definitely do meet these criteria, somewhat meet these criteria, and then it's rejecting the papers that don't. Once it has screened papers, it will begin to extract data. So you can see it's starting to work through the papers here, and it is gathering some information that it's going to summarize, that it's going to use while summarizing the papers in the report that it's going to form. This part in generating the report takes the longest. You can watch this as it goes by, but if you prefer to just go ahead and close this window and go do other work, Elicit will email you with a link to the report that it creates once it is finished doing this. You don't have to stay on this page and wait while it's doing it. And if for some reason the link that it emails you doesn't come through, maybe it gets caught in your spam filter or something like that, you can always go to your recent link and look at the reports that you have previously generated. Once Elicit has finished creating your report, you will see something like this. It will give you an abstract of your report, which will conclude with the key findings. It will then go on to describe the methods for how it put together your report. You can always click here to see more on the methods, but they are summarized right here. These are the papers that Elicit determined met the criteria. These are the criteria along the top. And in the different cells here is a quick summary of how this paper met this criteria, this one, and this one. So you can get a basic overview of what you're looking at here. And then you can see an analysis of all of these studies and a synthesis of what was learned from them. One of the most interesting features of Elicit AI is that you can use the chat box here to interrogate this report. For example, if I'm reading along and I see that this study, according to the summary report, discussed active learning strategies, if I'm particularly interested myself in how active learning strategies impact information literacy instruction, I can ask a question, something like this, and when I click the Go button, it will look again at the research papers that it summarized, and it will provide me a more detailed answer based on the research papers that it looked at. I can download the report itself by clicking on Status and selecting Save PDF. Other than the report, if I click here, I can also see the paper sources. So these are the papers that Elicit looked at to create the report. And this is all 50 papers that it screened, not just the ones that it accepted. So if you'd like to look at some of the ones that it rejected, you can do that too. And you can again look at the screening criteria, the extraction definition, the extraction results, etc. So you can look at, it's very transparent about exactly how it created the report. This tool can be extremely useful to help you find and evaluate the relevance of a variety of sources for your research question.